Today, we will show you how to make a wooden cutting board in the shape of a pig. As a sample, we took a cutting board made of plywood, but we will modernize it a bit and make it much better. For the base of the cutting board, we will use veneered wood. That is 1.5 cm thick, but you can also use regular thick plywood. It also works well. We will also need a design. Here, we have a drawing of a sow with piglets. It's done on tracing paper, which we transferred from the original. You can take any picture you like in the shape you want to make the cutting board. To transfer the picture onto the wood, you will need regular transfer paper and a regular pen or pencil. Now we will trace the outline. For burning the design, we will use a regular wood burner. Ours is a high quality one from the old days, which has 3 heat settings. This blade. To cut out the shape of the board, you can use either an electric or a manual jigsaw. The blade should have teeth. It's very small, so I'll use a blade with fine teeth to avoid any chipping and to get a clean cut. First, let's take a wooden board or plywood, place the transfer paper on it according to the size of the design, and secure it with some pins. This way, we can trace the outline onto the wood without shifting it. Now, my assistant will trace the outline of the pig for the subsequent cutting and burning of the board. The drawing is to trace the outline onto the wood without shifting it. Now, my assistant will trace the outline of the pig for the subsequent cutting and burning of the board. Here, the outline of the pig has been traced. Now we will remove the transfer paper and the tracing paper. As you can see, all the contours are outlined, and you can start cutting out the contour. If any parts of the outline are hard to see, you can trace that outline again with a regular pencil. Now let's take the electric jigsaw, set the cutting speed to maximum, and start cutting out the outline of this pig. After cutting, we ended up with this outline. It's important that there are no unnecessary cuts. Everything should be straight and smooth. No unnecessary cuts. Everything is straight and smooth. After this, it is necessary to process the saw seam with fine sandpaper, and then you can start cutting. As you can see, the fine-toothed blade cuts almost without chipping, and there's hardly any need to process this wood. As you can see, the fine-toothed blade cuts almost without chipping, and there's hardly any need to process this wood. After that, we carefully burn the outline, taking our time, so there are no uneven burns, and the line has a consistent depth. This is what the little piggy looks like after burning, so that there are no separate burn marks, and the line has a consistent depth. Here's what the little piggy looks like after burning. Now, we just need to take some fine sandpaper and go over the corners on the outside and inside to avoid splinters like the ones here. Even though right here, although the wood is clean, but there are still some small splinters that could later get into your hand and cause an injury. And before you seal the face, of the board, you need to take some fine sandpaper and polish the face well. You should sand in circular motions to avoid scratches. It is necessary to grind using circular movements to avoid scratches. And after that, we'll move on to varnishing the board. To avoid any fluff, we'll take a regular dish, sponge. Let's cut off a piece from it. And with it, you can varnish this board without any fluff. I'm using parquet varnish. It gives a slightly darker tone, but a rich gloss. We're lacquering the wood along the grain so that the lacquer absorbs well. And we'll also treat the side rope part so that it doesn't swell when washing. We need to make sure that no air bubbles form, because when it sets, they'll create an unsightly texture. In the end, we ended up with a beautiful pig-shaped kitchen cutting board